Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Q2 FY22 earnings conference call of V-Mart Retail, hosted by Edelweiss Securities Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then zero on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Nihal Maheshwari from Edelweiss Securities Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rizza. On behalf of Edelweiss, I would like to welcome you all to the Q2 FY22 conference call of V-Mart Retail. From the management today, we have Mr. Lalit Agarwal, Chairman and Managing Director, and Mr. Anand Agarwal, Chief Financial Officer. I would now like to hand over the call to Mr. Lalit Agarwal for his opening remarks. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Wishing everyone a very happy Diwali and good festival days coming in. So, wishing everyone such a positive note where we have not seen too much of hue and cry over the virus. So it has been a very good festival time for everyone around India. So thank you for being on the call. Thank you, Nihal. I'm very happy to come on this call on a positive note that things are looking better. Things market is bettering every day, every month, every week, and we are seeing a good response week on week improvement that we are able to see, and especially in the last 4-5 weeks, we are able to see much more this pace continuing and also bettering every time. So, but overall, I think consumption is coming up. Consumption has become better, especially in the fashion segment. It has really picked up very well. It was also on the backdrop of 2 lockdowns and 2 bad periods, and where there was also a gap created for the consumers where their wardrobes were a little empty and they wanted to now come and buy a product for themselves and come out and show off. So I think also because of the fact that the virus is not coming back and the confidence and the trust that the people have now over the little bit of stability over this period is also asking them to drive consumption, because people are now taking bets on if there is a wedding in the house, they could invite 300 people, 400 people. If there is a vacation that they're planning, they could go out, they could meet people. There is a transportation are almost becoming, everything is becoming normal. Schools have started opening. Still, colleges have not opened to that degree. But these are very good signs, which is leading into a better consumption opportunity requirement, and also ultimately will lead into consumption. And as we all know, this COVID has really changed the perception of people, the life of the people, the way people look at their own living, the way people want to live. So they today definitely in the past, what has happened is saving has increased, expenses have reduced. But I think in the coming future, the saving is going to be little more lesser, and people will spend for themselves and spend for their life and spend for what they want to do. So that's my basic understanding. That is what we are able to see. But yes, the same, there is a small difference right now in the smaller towns. We still don't see that kind of huge growth in consumption. We did not see that in Durga Puja period before September or around September. We are able to see that coming in the month of October and now in November. But still, the amount of good growth or amount of the excitement that we are able to see in the bigger cities, maybe Varanasi, Lucknow, Allahabad and Patna, is not what we are able to see in smaller towns. So yes, there is a small gap, and I think this is a point also of how do consumers handle their pocket, because they are getting beaten by the inflationary trend. They have not earned too much. They have actually, the lower part of the income group have actually lost some money in the pandemic piece, which they are down with. So they will have to make that up, and there are still some opportunities. Some people have still not gone back to cities and their original place of work. that's also hitting into their pocket, their family income. So there are some of these reasons. There has been some expenses in terms of mobile phone or a laptop, which is also been incurred because of their children's study and all. So even that is getting a share of their wallet. So otherwise, I think industry is doing great. The apparel industry, the retailers we are getting good report as far as the organized trade is concerned. We are seeing a huge growth also from the likes of the conglomerates or the likes of the whether it is Tata or whether it is Reliance or it is Walmart's owned online e-commerce or Amazon e-commerce. So there are people who are trying to pitch hard, pitch more into retail, absorb, acquire the market, get into the market a little more faster. So we are seeing a good share of retail also going to them. But still, there is a lot of cannibalization. There's a lot of I would say density in the market now, and then people the movement from unorganized to organized has also scaled up, and that's also accelerated. People are moving more towards organized because organized now is widely available in almost all the cities, big cities of India. So that's where we are, and for V-Mart, I think it has been a very good quarter, and a better quarter as you all know. Still not compared to the last year or pre-COVID level. We were down. I think the consumption is moving up. We had a great time. What we would understand here is, for us, once again, having a very good inventory level, having a very good control over the product, having a very good understanding about the customer, the change in their customer behavior because of COVID, the change in the pattern, the change in the consumption of particular product line. What will work, what will not work, how much will that work, how much should we buy, what should we buy, has been really big challenging situation. There has been a lot of ups and downs. There has been a lot of analytical, re-analytical, forecasting, reforecasting activities which have been happening around, and definitely it has given a very good tough time and challenging time even to our leadership team who has come out very well. I would congratulate my leadership team who has done an excellent job handling these ups and downs, handling these in such a nice way, so as we have not been pooled into very high inventory or even the margins are consistent. On the other side, the integration on the southern business is acquired by Arvind, the Unlimited business, has been very good. I'm proud to say that our team did a great job in integrating the IT on the processes, on the people, on the team. Very, very well done integration is what I would call. But yes, still we need to integrate ourselves with the customer understanding, consumer behavior understanding, the differentiated customer of that particular brand, the differentiated customer in that particular geography. We will have to really launch the products and the strength of V-Mart, which is yet to come. We'll have to integrate the brand image. We'll have to attract the youth, which is yet to happen. But yeah, overall, we only operated 1 month in this particular quarter, and we were satisfied with the overall response, because otherwise normally when you take over a business, your sales go down, process goes haywire, billing stops, customers are not being catered to, employees have restrictions. So we didn't get any of those bad news, and we had very good. We didn't even lose a single hour of sales. So that's the good news that I want to give you. Otherwise, we'll definitely take more questions in the call. But I want every participant to restrict, because we already have given too many update about the Unlimited business in the past 2 calls. We don't have too many things to share right now. But yes, we will definitely want to clear up all your doubts and all your queries on this. Otherwise, I think once again the organization is consistent. There is a very good news that we also have is the splitting of my role. I have to become more focused. I have now taken up the seat of the managing director. I have relinquished the post of the chairman, bringing a better corporate governance, bringing the top in line corporate governance thought processes, so that we have brought in our best independent director on the job, who could really do a better job than what I have done. So We have made Mr. Akash Mundra as the chairman of the company, who is a non-independent or an independent and non-executive director. And that's a pride moment for us. That's definitely something that not too many promoters and not too many founders have done. But it didn't make me think multiple times. Well, ultimately, we need to reach those highest levels of corporate governance. That's our focus, and that's what we will want to do. We continue on our ESG drive. We are also looking at environmental sustainability, both very, very closely. Society and society development is also very, very close to us. We have been focusing on educating people, bringing capability, building capabilities. We've also opened up 2 skill development centers in the past, one in Northeast and one in the Bengal. So we continue doing something which will also benefit our society, something which will also bring us a space to us in the hearts of the people where we actually earn. So that's where we are. I would definitely want Anand to take you on the number side and the report side. So Anand, hand over to you. Kindly go ahead and give the details about the performance of our business in the last quarter.
Thank you, Lalit, and good morning, everybody. Anand this side. It's been a good recovery this quarter, and with South India operations just getting started, we look forward to a very exciting new phase of growth for V-Mart. But first, let me take you through some of the key financial highlights from the quarter, and then we can open the session for questions. So, primarily the second quarter is a relatively small quarter with no major festivals or any major consumption drivers, and is usually low on margins due to the typical end of season sale liquidation drives, etc. However, owing to the extended lockdowns in quarter one, the recovery in this quarter becomes important. While the quarter saw 95% of operational days, but it was still impacted by limited working hours, contracted footfalls, lack of customer trust, at least in the beginning part of the quarter, and also regulatory weekend closures in some states, which impacted the overall throughput. Despite this, I am happy to share we were able to achieve a growth of 8% over pre-COVID levels on a consolidated basis for the quarter, which also included a 7% contribution mix from the newly acquired 74 South India stores, and 1% growth on a standalone basis only for existing V-Mart stores, so which is a 101% recovery over pre-COVID levels, which is FY20. These in ABS or average billing size was 18% versus last year, which also denotes a healthy trend of consumer buying apparel, which is getting normalized versus last year, where more of comfort wear and homeware clothes were in demand, whereas this year we are seeing more festive and occasion wear being sold, which signifies a deep-rooted recovery in the consumer mindset. The customer traction also has been steadily building up, and the footfalls are now trending close to 80% plus levels as compared to 2019. On the margin side, while there has been an immense pressure on product sourcing costs due to at least 20 to 30% flare-up in yarn prices, but we have been able to pass on the price increase completely back to the customer. The change in product mix and lower discounting has also led to a marginal expansion in gross margin or product margins versus last year, while they remain almost in sync with what we used to see at pre-COVID levels. On the expense side, keeping in mind almost full level of operational days, there were no major cost savings apart from a one-time 8 crore rental concession that we received this year on account of COVID, as against a 16 crore concession that we received last year in the same quarter. Other than that, almost all other expenses remained at normal pre-COVID levels. There are no other major rent reductions anticipated in the next quarter, as all operations are back to normal operating levels. There is a one-time, not a one-time, but addition in expenses also due to the operating expenditure of the 74 South India stores, but which remain as per plan. And in fact, we look forward to rationalizing this and making it more efficient as we move along. Thereby, to sum it in terms of EBITDA, the quarter ended with 6.1% EBITDA at 21 crores as compared to a EBITDA loss of 4 crores last year and 11 crore EBITDA positive last to last year in quarter 2 FY20, which is pre-COVID level. On the cash flows, we remain quite comfortable on the overall cash position. Major deployment of cash has been in the acquisition of the 74 stores in South India, capex for newly opened 14 new stores, and some amount of capex towards setting up of a new warehouse, which we've already discussed in the past, the first phase of which should be ready by next financial year. Inventory at 560 crores remained in line with the build-up for the upcoming festive requirements and included approximately 110 crores of stocks pertaining to the South India stores, which have recently been taken over. The South India store stocks include inventory which is only less than 1 year old, which has been taken over, as all the old stocks remain outside the purview of the acquisition transaction. We've also started using part of these, South India stocks in some of our North India operations with very encouraging response. And conversely, we are also feeding some of the sharper price stocks from the V-Mart traditional inventory into the UL stores, the Unlimited stores, to position the sharper price points that V-Mart is known for. As far as the online business is concerned, the online business continues to grow strongly, albeit on a relatively small base, but we remain very committed and very focused on building this to a large level. With availability on vmartretail.com, apps on iOS as well as Android, and also with a very limited assortment present on marketplaces as of now. As of now, the contribution mix from online is around 1%, but we continue to build this business towards a 5% revenue mix in the next 2 to 3 years, which should be aided by hyperlocal delivery and lower cost to service nearby customers. Digital transformation remains a key focus area for the company, and we have set up a special new team to focus and leverage on technology-led initiatives to improve efficiency in all parts of the business. Coming on to the store expansion. On the new store expansion plans, we remain fairly committed to keep expanding not only in the online space, but also maintain the rate of growth of 20 to 25% on physical store addition. So far this year, we have opened 24 new stores, and in addition, we have also acquired 74 stores in South India, and thereby the tally for as on date stands at 376 stores for the company. There are plans to open a total of 40 plus stores in this financial year, out of which 24 have already been opened, and some of these new openings might now also start happening in South India. On the Unlimited piece, the business is showing definitely good early promises of a stable and profit accretive base in South India in the quarters to come at a zone level and without any significant overhang of corporate overheads. In the last 2 months of operations and any significant changes made in the cost structures or any big ticket systems or merchandise inventory planning, etc. The operations have remained quite satisfactory, although it still remains very early to make a judgment on how soon can we start looking at a very in line with V-Mart kind of profitability and growth. There's a strong team that we have inherited in the South, and there are a lot of initiatives planned for South India, including opening up of new stores right from this financial year itself. There is also a lot of synergy being leveraged in terms of product, visual merchandising, and also operational excellence, which is being cross-pollinated from South to North and vice versa to benefit the entire organization. And we remain committed to make the combined operations in sync on providing better fashion and value to the customer. On the outlook, I think there are 2 challenges that remain open while we remain extremely bullish and optimistic on the overall retail and business scenario. I think the 2 challenges, one is on the continued cost pressures in terms of the cotton price increases, and second is on the anticipated GST rate increase, which the government has announced to be effective from January this year. While we have made contingency plans and mitigating plans for both of these, as far as the cotton prices are concerned, we have already passed on the full impact of the price increase in terms of higher prices. But if things remain in the upward trajectory, we will be continuing to increase the pricing going forward as well. As far as the GST rate increase is concerned, while the government had announced that this might be effective from 1st of January, but we're still to hear on how the migration process, etc., will actually pan out. There may be, short-term challenges in terms of how to mitigate the loss on the existing inventory, but we remain optimistic and will remain in dialogue with the Finance Ministry through associations and communications to ensure that this transition is also managed and mitigated to a large extent. So that's all from my side, and I now request the moderator to open the house for questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. A request to the participants to please limit the questions to 2 per participant. If you have a follow-up question, you may rejoin the queue. The first question is from the line of Shirish Pardesi from Centrum Capital. Please go ahead.
Happy Diwali to you and the team. And it's really heartening, the strong recovery which you have reported. I have a few questions. The first question, there is an incremental dichotomy out there in the market that whether this physical retail will win back the customer. And we recently saw in the morning that even Nykaa IPO was having a super bumper listing, and they're also entering into the online retailing. So in your sense, how this physical retail piece will shape up for V-Mart? Or is that incrementally the consumer will drive down to the other channels of connect?
Hey, Shirish, good morning. Very well, very, very good opening question. And this is definitely one discussion which is occupying almost 50% of our board's time and the board meeting time. And the strategic discussions which comes in and which is always discussed at our top leadership team. And then so what comes out is, it's going to be purely multi or omni-channel. So it is neither this or that. It has to be multi for everyone, only for everyone. Whether online players want to build their business, want to establish their brand, want to have a grip over the customer's consumption, they will have to be available in both the channels. Even for V-Mart, it will be very, very important. But yes, physical experience, more and more digital, will definitely drive people for those physical experiences, because they definitely, once locked in a room, are tired in a room and tired with a screen. So they want to come out and also experience that physicality and that physical experience. So I think it will be genuinely a large piece over the digital channel, which is going to be both omni as well as I would call customer want it to be available in both the platforms. Not in the real sense omni, because people have a lot of time in India and they still don't want to save time to do digital. They really want. Right now, it's more a grab-oriented deal, a price-oriented deal, which people have longed on to. But yes, we have started realizing from this quarter and the last quarter that people are now also looking at. We are also getting a very good traction on the kind of honest price approach that we have taken up in the online channel. I think that is also going to play its own role, and we will have a very good win over that digital customer in there.
Lalitji, I completely agree your view, but just one follow-up. You always have been vocal about priceless fashion. And I think what I'm trying to hint at is that the customers which we serve in tier 2, tier 3, or the value-conscious customer, do you really think it will be becoming a threat to us, or you think it is an opportunity?
It's definitely an opportunity, Shirish, and I can tell you, I had also told us before. So there's a lot of new areas and a lot of new cities and a lot of new data that we're receiving. The top 1,000 cities where we're getting footfall from and the 1,000 cities where we're getting business from, we are tracking them. We understand. We have got a lot of revelations on that. There are a lot of towns which got discovered. So I think those fundamental things are also very important, and we will definitely take and make this as an opportunity. That's what the approach of V-Mart is all about.
Anyway, I have a longer discussion. I'll take it offline. My second question is on the winter portfolio. We have a very strong winter portfolio, which also drives our top line, heavy top line, and it impacts the profitability for the company. In the early stage, around festive season, how this traction is happening, and if you could spend a minute or two, how the inventory is stacking up, how the initial response in the markets, which is just getting opened up, especially our Hindi belt, which is very our key strong markets like UP, Bihar, Jharkhand.
Yeah, so I think winter and pre-winter, or even the northern retail business, northern India retail business, has been really understood by V-Mart and the team of V-Mart very well. The processes that we have to plan, choose, or to create, and also supply and handle the supply chain is really very, very strong. And we believe there has been a great launch of our pre-winter and winter collection. We have really picked up, and the acceleration in the sales from those categories have been very, very good, especially in this year. We have seen a very good demand coming in. We have seen a very good response from the consumer. The feedbacks are awesome on our pre-winter collection. I want to congratulate on this moment, even and appreciate my entire merchandising team, who have done a great job in bringing a very, very differentiated as well as a unique product in the market, which is bringing in a lot of differentiation in the V-Mart brand as together. So we are really booming on we have definitely taken up some price rise also on those product lines, but we are seeing customer paying them. And what we have done is we have worked a little more hard on the product designing, a little more hard on the product manufacturing, so that we are able to compensate some of those price rise to the manufacturing cost reductions. And otherwise, we have worked with the team to create a very, very, very good product, which is perceived as much more better, and much more a little more lesser price product would be seen as a much more better product in terms of the look and feel of the product. So that's what we are focusing on, and that's giving us good result. And we believe this is a clear differentiation with any kind of retailer, whether they are the top notch of India, the national retailers, or even their local retailers. We have a very clear edge in this particular collection. Thank you, Sis, for bringing this up.
Sorry to interrupt. May I request Mr. Pardesi to please rejoin the queue? We have participants waiting for their turn.
Sure.
Thank you. We'll move to the next question, which is from the line of Percy Panthaki from IIFL. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. First question on the South India foray. So you said that some of the new stores you will be opening up now in South India also. So firstly, when you do that, will they be branded V-Mart, or will they be branded Unlimited for now? And secondly, if you are branding them V-Mart, will you open those new stores even before the rebranding of the Unlimited stores to V-Mart takes place? So, just the first question on that. And related to that, how long do you think before the Unlimited business turns OCF positive?
Well, you have long list of questions, and you have to be a little patientful to get the answers for all those questions. But I have to ask questions. We still are on the research mode. We still are on the finding mode that how well is the Unlimited brand established in the market. We want to first understand that the brand perception, the brand understanding of the consumer, the brand strength in the market. So we are doing all those kind of formal process involving them in the process. But yes, we will continue opening, and whenever we put it out, the strategy on that date is going to be, because we will ultimately want to change the look and feel of the store and the brand ultimately. So very happy.
Sure, understood. Secondly, just wanted to understand in terms of the normal store opening, not the South India, but in your existing market, what strategy are you adopting there? Are you sort of trying to saturate the 3 or 4 core states that you are in, or are you planning to open a higher number of stores in the states where you have only a minimal presence?
Anand can answer this question. Yeah, Anand, please go ahead.
Percy, it's not identified goal as to that we only want to saturate, let's say, UP or Bihar. I think it's a very distributed strategy. We are definitely using the cluster-based model that we have evolved over the years and drive it to perfection. So, which will mean that we will also, open more number of stores in the core markets while inching outwards and spreading ourselves to newer areas and newer geographies like we have been doing in the last many years. So just as an example, we've opened more stores this year, and we've also opened stores in Northeast. We've also opened stores in let's say West Bengal, etc., and Rajasthan. So it's a distributed approach.
Right. And lastly, on e-commerce strategy, the price points that you are putting in e-commerce, are they similar to the price points you have in your store, or are they slightly higher price points?
They are exactly the same. In fact, the same merchandise is getting populated on the online channel. So when you visit vmartretail.com, you will find exactly the same merchandise. There is also a little bit more new experiment that we have started doing, which is in terms of putting in some exclusive merchandise which is available only online and not in these stores, which might be at a slightly a differentiated price point or in form of packs of 2 or packs of 3, which is something very prevalent and popular on the online channels.
Okay, sir. That's all from me. Thanks and all the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Harsh from Motilal Oswal. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. This is Ali from Motilal. So I have a couple of questions. First is on your store addition. Anand, you mentioned we are looking to add 20-25% new stores. So if I take the current number, it works out somewhere about 90, 100 stores. Now in the past, if we see 19, 20, we've on an average done about close to 40, 50 stores. So, if we are looking to add, at that accelerated pace, can you just share some insight in terms of, what capabilities we may have built internally in terms of the pipeline of properties, how we plan to basically execute, that kind of a pace of store addition. And I understand obviously that, this pace is going to continue. So, if you can also share some color in terms of the opportunity in the market to add maybe 100 odd stores consistently for the next maybe 3-5 years.
Yeah, Ali, that's a very good question. So, as we understand and as we have seen in the last many years, the 20 to 25% retail area addition pace is based on the fact that we have the management bandwidth and the operational bandwidth to manage that number of new openings. And accordingly, we keep on adding and improving the capability and the width of the team, not only in the core head office, but also in the distributed geographies where we operate. So we divided or sort of, branched out the operations into a zonal structure 3 years back. And thereby we have now regional teams which are taking care of the business development function, identification of new sites function independently. And this capability also now exists in the South India region, while it already was there in the North, East and West regions which we had earlier used to operate. So thereby we are quite conscious and confident that we should be able to maintain this rate of growth.
Okay, and also can you share some color in terms of the pipeline of properties we may have built?
So there is no number, Ali, that I can share, but definitely there is always 50 to 60 properties which are under consideration and in various stages of vetting, maybe just at a proposal stage or at a site visit stage or many different stages that we do as a tick mark process. But suffice to say, there is a healthy pipeline and we do keep building on the pipeline consistently.
Got it. Second question is on Unlimited. Correct me if I understood rightly. You mentioned that if I exclude the Unlimited business, then standalone V-Mart has grown 1%. So that implies basically that rest of about 20-21 crores in this quarter has come from Unlimited. Now, Unlimited started, I think, from 1st of September. So, if you could just share some more color in terms of why such a small number? I mean, what could be the stable state number of Unlimited? I mean, if I just assume all the stores are opened and, fully up and running. And a related question over there is, I understand that you will have a detailed strategy, conversation on Unlimited separately. But just if you could share, what are the avenues that Unlimited has to improve the margin? So I understand rental obviously will maybe be a little sticky, So there, would you have optimization of cost as one of your key strategy, or you think throughputs can significantly improve? I mean, I'm just trying to get some insight in terms of how would we look to improve margin profile and profitability in Unlimited. Thank you.
So Ali, while it is very early days for me to comment and really pass a judgment on how the sales trajectory, etc., will go on, but I can just add to what I already said. See, September, first of all, is a small month, and it is also the first month of the transition which happened. So we had anticipated the kind of number that had come in, and we are quite happy with the number that came in. It is in line, in sync with what those stores had achieved in the past. So there were no surprises, negative or significantly positive. We are happy with what we got in September, and so far also in the month of October, and so far what we have seen in November, I think the progress is happening as we had anticipated and as we planned. As far as the profitability and the cost structures go, there are no big changes that we have made in the cost structures. There is only one change which has happened organically, which is the removal of the, let's say, the corporate cost structures of the erstwhile management team of the Unlimited team that was managing that business. But otherwise, on a store level, on an operational level, there are no major changes that we have made or we are planning to make. I think our combined focus of the entire team is to bring sales productivity higher, and that should compensate, in terms of higher profitability and bringing it at par in the long term to the near about range at which V-Mart traditionally operates.
Okay, got it. Just for our, modeling or maybe understanding point of view, what would be the stable state, revenue potential of, Unlimited?
I think stable state we should aspire, and we are planning and targeting to take it to near about levels of what a normal new store of V-Mart would operate at.
Somewhere about 9-10 crores monthly, yearly run rate.
I don't want to put any numbers, but definitely we would want to have a very harmonious and stable structure across.
Okay, and that should take about a year, or it could be sooner?
It should be at least 1 year or more.
Ali, हमारे पास ना मैजिक की एक छड़ी है, उस छड़ी से हम घुमाते हैं तो हमारा काम होता है. Come on, guys, give us some breathing space.
Absolutely, sir.
Numbers from us.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much for providing all the details.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, if anyone wishes to ask a question, may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Madan Gopal Ramu from Sundaram Alternate. Please go ahead.
Good morning, sir. Able to hear me?
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. So congrats on good performance in a difficult quarter. But if I look at from pre-COVID level like Q2 FY20, the footfall is still low. Obviously, there has been some disruption in the operations as you highlighted in the initial commentary. But as we moved into the festive season, how was the footfall compared to, say, pre-COVID festive season? What was the experience?
So, Madan, footfalls have now been growing up, but I must also add, that footfalls are not really the same. One should not look at footfalls in the same breath as we used to, let's say, look at them 2 years back, because there is also a slight shift in the way consumers come for shopping. So earlier, people used to come for shopping in groups, in larger groups of friends and families, families of 3 or 4. And today, there is a slightly more focused approach where people want to come only to shop particular things that they want to buy, and only in festival times or very special times that they would come in let's say groups of 2 or 3. But having said that, I think the 80% recovery on footfalls and a slightly higher recovery in terms of the number of bills cut is definitely giving us confidence that the customer trust is now back in full force.
Okay. So all inclusive is are you seeing the festive season in terms of SSG flat compared to pre-COVID, or are you seeing some growth also?
No, there is, I would say it is still not flat, but definitely during the festive it has been flat, but at least for the quarter it was definitely not flat. It was at around 85% of recovery on the SSG or like to like. But during festive we are seeing more close to flat or growth also in a lot of areas.
Okay, great to hear that. Thanks. That was my question. All other questions have been answered. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Shirish Pardesi from Centrum Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Anand. Thanks for the opportunity. Just two questions from my side. One is that on Unlimited, you mentioned that the recovery or the 1 month period, what you have seen heartening. When I look back before acquisition, they did somewhere around 320 odd crore and the run rate was about 26 odd crore. And the number what you said about 4.5% contribution. Is it safe to assume that the understanding whatever you have got and the parameters on which you have evaluated, that has surpassed in the 1 month of operation?
Shirish, as Lalit also said, I think 1 month is too short a time to pass any judgment. Let's just be a little bit more patient because if we say anything right now or if we decide something right now that 1 month is the barometer or the benchmark, I think it may just lead us to some wrong conclusions. So let's just wait for a little while before we can start giving out good commentary on the Unlimited piece.
Okay, all right. I take it with that. On the second part, you mentioned that you have taken about 8% odd price increase because of cotton yarn inflation. Is there any further price increase in the quarter 2 you have passed on, or it's that whatever you have taken in quarter 1?
So far what we have taken is somewhere around 8%, but further price increase is not ruled out because the cotton yarn prices are not showing signs of any abatement. As a consequence, therefore, also in our next year planning, there might also be a quantity degrowth in terms of the number of pieces that we are able to sell because of the higher price increase that may eventually be required to happen.
Okay, all right. That's it from me. Thank you, and all the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jashpreet Singh from Equentis PMS. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Good morning, team. And congrats on the various initiatives, including that what Mr. Lalit mentioned. My first question was around this recovery, Anand, which you mentioned, 85%. So what I'm trying to understand is, compared to 2 years back, same quarter, for a matured store for V-Mart, would the recovery be back in terms of, let's say, the revenue per day or revenue per month as we speak, or maybe the month of September?
So I just explained that, Jashpreet. So in the September month or September quarter, the recovery was for a like-to-like store was somewhere around 85%, and that's also amplified in the the data that we had published in the investor presentation deck. But as I speak, in the festive period in the last 2-3 weeks, we have seen close to 100% recovery on the same store basis for the mature stores or all these stores.
Okay, so for the quarter it was close to 85, and now in the subsequent month it's reaching 100% for a matured store.
Yeah.
Okay. That clarifies. Second is in terms of margin. The December quarter typically is the one where we get the best margins. Between 20 and 22%, or ballpark whatever be that number. Given you've highlighted the headwind of cotton prices, but at the same time, I'm talking about only V-Mart X Unlimited. Do you think there is a case where this could that could be upped going forward, given that we would also have seen some kind of cost rationalization on the overheads, which might sustain for a long period of time?
So, Jaspreet, there are no cost rationalizations for a long-term period. We have, aptly stated that in our previous last many calls. Retail is largely a fixed cost business, and otherwise also the inflationary pressures are not only on the cotton side; they are inflationary pressures all around.
Okay.
You look at the commodity cycles, freight cycles, everything is going up. This has been the year of inflation, so I do not see any margin expansion happening because of cost savings. And otherwise also, as a philosophy, V-Mart firmly believes in operating on honest pricing model, and we will pass on if there are any more margins that we can accrue. We will pass them back to the consumer in terms of sharper pricing.
Okay, fine. And just a quick last one. Again, you may have touched upon the previous calls, but just trying to understand, is there room for maybe not immediately, because you would need a couple of quarters to absorb, integrate, and etc. for Unlimited. Maybe next calendar year, latter part, would there room for another round of acquisition for which you might start working, subsequent quarters?
I don't suppose, and I can't say anything with certainty. These are things which happen because of more special reasons. So nothing on the radar. We are not looking or working at anything, but we will keep exploring, and we will keep looking at things. If there is something, we'll definitely let you know.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Devanshu Bansal from Emkay Global Financial Services. Please go ahead.
Yes, hi. Thanks for the opportunity and season's greetings to the management team. So my question is on the expected change in GST rates. So just wanted to check, is there any mismatch currently between the input tax credits and the output GST in the current regime?
So while not directly, as far as we are concerned on the product side, but definitely there is a mismatch in terms of the capex or GST on the capex that we do versus the output tax that we pay on the goods that we sell. So output tax on the goods that we sell is almost on 85% of the goods, it is at 5%, while for around 10-15% of the goods, it would be 12% or 18% because there is some portion of FMCG also that we sell. But if I look at the input tax credit, let's say on the services or on the capex that we do on the new stores, the average GST rate works out to around 18%.
Sure. Any blended level that you can indicate? So I just wanted to understand, as in when GST increases to 12%, will we be able to offset a higher amount of ITC? Because currently we may be able to offset only the 5% part.
No, definitely. That from that perspective, it is a positive. There is no doubt on that. It will definitely lead to better absorption and lesser accumulation of ITC. But I think the worry is not from that side. The worry is more from getting the consumers to pay more for the same goods. And also, there is a large amount of inventory that we hold, on which we had paid only, or we had received an input of only 5%. But if things go as per what the government is proposing, we will need to end up, paying or depositing a 12% GST on that inventory as well, in terms of the output tax as and when it gets sold.
Sure. Secondly, just want to check on the price hikes that we have taken. You have indicated 8% so far. How is the competition extent? What is the extent of price hikes taken by the competition? Any idea on that?
Our sense is that almost everybody has taken a very similar kind of price hike. It may not be very clearly visible, but our studies and our understanding shows that it is very similar. Maybe Lalit, you want to add something here?
Yeah. So, see, this is definitely something which is shaking up the industry, and there's a lot of interactions and a lot of debates which is happening. Both the price rise because of the fiber, the yarn prices going up, which is definitely shaking up everyone. Nothing is in control. Everyone is on their toe to understand what kind of prices, what kind of product, what kind of MRPs should we charge up, and then there is an increase that everyone has taken up. No one is able to resist it, and people are also accounting for a still additional price rise. So people or the entire industry is doing that. Whether it is an unorganized trade or organized trade, everyone will have to buy at a very, very high price and then sell at a lower, higher price. Other than that, even on the GST front, the whole industry is focusing on this. Let me inform you that I'm also working with the entire industry group to try and talk to the government, understand, build those methodologies and understanding that why it will be difficult for the consumers to pay these kind of prices and these kind of taxes. So, but still, I don't see a lot of response from the government. I think it may get. There are 80% chances that it may get implemented.
Sure. Thank you, sir. Thanks. That's it from my end.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vinod Malviya from Union Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for taking my question. My question was regarding the organic growth. Now, before this Unlimited stores acquisition, you had given a broad guidance of reaching some 600 odd stores over the next 4 to 5 years. And that was largely on the, if I remember correctly, it was on the organic side. Now we've added 74 stores of Unlimited. So should we assume that close to 670 to 700 stores would be added by over the next 4 to 5 years, including the Unlimited stores? Or this will basically the guidance you said with, which included inorganic and organic growth?
So, Vinod, I think our projections, while remain intact, our aspirations also remain intact, and we remain very optimistic on the overall, opportunity that the market offers. But we are not chasing any large numbers. We are not aspirationally growing in terms of that we have to open 600 stores or we have to open 100 stores. I think we are firmly guided by the profitability principles. We are firmly guided by what the consumer expects of us, and thereby that number will totally depend on what is the right location and what are the right opportunities that we are able to see and therefore leverage. So there is no, number that we are chasing that we have definitely to reach this number at any cost. I think what we are definitely chasing is a profitable and a efficiency-led growth.
So something which I've done in the past, we have not leveraged a balance sheet for the sake of getting growth. So that trend will continue even going forward. So whatever growth happens, that has to come from with the support of the balance sheet rather than just leveraging the balance sheet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vikas from Equitas. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. So my first question relates to Unlimited. If you could just give a broad sense of whatever September month revenue that they have recorded, was it how much recovery that we had versus pre-COVID levels for that month specific? Second question would be if you could just reiterate what you just said to an earlier participant's question regarding what levers do we have with respect to bringing Unlimited profitability nearer to our V-Mart's margin level? Thanks.
Yeah. So from what actually your voice was not very clear. From what I understood, you asked two questions. One was around the recovery percentage that we spoke about in the first question, and second was on the profitability projections or for the South India stores. Is that correct?
So first question was regarding the like-to-like performance of Unlimited for the September month that we recorded this time, and how was that with respect to probably pre-COVID levels or last year? And another one was correct, as you said, the lever that we have for bringing Unlimited profitability to our V-Mart store levels.
So for the Unlimited, these stores, the like-to-like comparison was not really relevant because there were significant amount of changes which happened during the pre-COVID times versus what happened in this year. And as I said earlier, we would not really want to comment too much on the performance in the first month itself. It is too short a period. I think we should just be a little bit more patient in terms of, we are also being very patient in terms of understanding the right trend so that we can take the right actions. Now, as far as the profitability is concerned, we remain firmly focused as a company always on making any part of the business operation profitable. And we are very hopeful and very optimistic that we should be able to repeat and replicate the same kind of model or structure in this newly acquired set of stores. It might take a little bit of time. We have already given us and planned for 1 to 2 years of runway, wherein we would want to reach similar kind of levels, and we will, continue to monitor the situation and keep coming back to the, the larger analyst group as and when we have something major to report.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ankit Kedia from Phillip Capital. Please go ahead.
So my first question is regarding the capex. Can you highlight the capex which we have done outside the acquisition for the first half, and for the remaining half, what is the target of capex?
So first half, apart from the acquisition of these 74 stores, the other capex largely has been on the the new store additions and also purchase of land, which we already reported in Q1 call for building up a new warehouse, on which work is shortly about to begin. For the remaining part of the year, again, there are going to be two parts. One is around the new store additions. So roughly around 15-20 stores should get added in the second half. And there would be some amount, roughly around 20-25 crores of capex that should get spent on the building for the new warehouse.
So the major part of the warehouse capex will come next year and not this year.
Correct.
So my second question is regarding the gross margins. Currently the ASP and the gross margins of Unlimited are slightly on the higher side. And initially last call you had alluded that from the next season we will pretty much migrate to the same cost structure of V-Mart at the Unlimited stores level as well. So should the gross margins actually correct going forward at the company level, given that at least next 6 months the gross margins would be slightly higher?
So Ankit, we are evaluating, and what we believe the customers there are able to pay are able to attract, or we are able to attract customers to pay a little higher prices on the similar product. And then definitely there are some of the good things which have been happening. And there's a margin structure that Unlimited is following, but our focus will be largely to bring up the thought process on the customer's mind that we are actually delivering them at a better value, a better product. So while creating the product, there may be a dent on the gross margin from the earlier times, but we still would have a higher gross margin too, because one, we will be largely a fashion store. Two, it will be a single season geography, wherein we may not have to discount too much for the season sale and end of season sale. So there are not too many winters and summers which are there in the northern part of India. So we will have a lesser discount margin which will go out. And also third, I think it is also because that we don't have any other business of kirana and which are lower margin businesses. So we will also gain some margin from those lines. So I think overall the gross margin on those lines of those side of the business and those portions of those geography will be much higher. And then definitely we are bringing in efficiency in our operation. All those practices that we have been building up in V-Mart will, when these efficiencies are implemented at the Unlimited level, we will definitely see a better outcome at a lower cost. So that's the approach that we will take. I would want everyone to rest on this piece for a little while, and we will definitely keep giving you additional information in the current time.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the last question for today. I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
No, so thank you everyone. But definitely these are testing times. These are lot of iterations, lot of algorithmic calculations are going on. That how do we handle inflation? How will customer handle inflation? How will customer take up inflation? What will be the strategy adopted by different brands and different industries? And it is definitely eating away a lot of the mind share and the discussions, the board meeting shares in each of the boardrooms. So these are definitely big questions to get answered in the consumer industry. All the consumer industry must have got their impact. And I think once again this shall also pass away is what I want to think of it. Customers are definitely going to earn or whenever there is inflation, we say economy runs well, economy runs better. It's a higher GDP or per capita income for individual customer. So that's how we take this as a very good growth opportunity, and we anticipate a very good growth phenomena coming in the next 2 years for the entire India. Thank you so much for being there patiently. We will definitely come back in the next quarter. See you.
Thank you. On behalf of Edelweiss Securities, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.